All right, welcome back to the deep dive. It's March 23rd, 2025, and we're jumping right into the headlines that are shaping India. We're covering a lot of ground today, from defense and global relations to sports and the economy, and even a bit of the unusual.
A real mixed bag, yeah.
Yeah,
A quick snapshot of what's driving the conversation in India. So if you want to get up to speed fast, you've come to the right place.
perfect.
Hmm.
Let's kick things off by looking at India's defense sector. Yesterday, on March 22nd, the Tavasya, an indigenously built naval frigate, was launched at Goa shipyard.
And that's significant because Tavasya is the second frigate under Project 11356, what they call Yard 1259. This class of frigates, they're guided missile frigates, a key part of India's modernization efforts.
Right, and it ties in with India's push for self-reliance, the Atmanirbhar Bharat initiative. We're talking about reducing dependence on foreign arms.
Exactly. And the big names were there. Union Minister of State for Defense Sanjay Seth, Vice Admirals S.J. Singh, and Rajaram Swaminathan. It shows you how much this project matters. Seth even pointed out that Goa Shipyard managed to launch 2 of these complex frigates in just 8 months.
That's impressive considering all the global supply chain issues we've been seeing. It says a lot about India's technological capabilities. And speaking of the global stage, let's talk about India's stance on international conflicts, especially the situation in Ukraine.
Well, External Affairs Minister S.J. Shankar spoke about this recently at the Business Today Mindrush 2025. He highlighted India's objective and pragmatic approach, and even mentioned Shashi Tharoor's change of heart, admitting he misjudged India's stance.
Interesting. Tharoor, he's now praising PM Modi's ability to keep good relationships with both Ukraine and Russia.
He is. So what Jaishankar is emphasizing is a level-headed analysis, looking beyond just the emotional reactions. He's focused on what's best for India, what serves our national interest.
I see. So that allows India to be involved in peace-building efforts, but also to pursue different energy partnerships, which we need.
That's right, and it puts India in a unique position. We're engaging with, well, sometimes opposing sides, whether it's Russia and Ukraine or even Israel and Iran in the Middle East. Of course, this pragmatic approach also draws criticism, with some saying India's not taking a strong enough stand on human rights. It's a constant balancing act.
A balancing act for sure. Jaishankar also mentioned globalization, fair trade, and the digital world, data privacy, AI security. All those issues are intertwined with our foreign policy. But let's take a break from geopolitics and jump into something a little more exciting, the IPL. The new season just kicked off, and the opening match between Royal Challengers Bengaluru and Kolkata Knight Riders was a thriller.
It was. Bengaluru won by 7 wickets at Eden Gardens.
Yeah.
And we have to talk about Virat Kohli, his 59 runs off just 36 balls. Talk about controlled aggression.
And Phil Salt, he set the pace early on. 21 runs off Arun Chakravarti in a single over. Bengaluru was at 80 runs, no wickets, after just 6 overs.
Right. Kolkata ended up with 174 for 8. Ajinkya Rahane got 56, and Sunil Narine 44. But then Krunal Pandya came in and took 3 wickets for 29 runs, including Rahane, Rinku Singh, and Venkatesh Iyer.
And let's not forget Suyash Kumar getting Andre Russell out. Even when Salt was dismissed in the 9th over, Bengaluru kept up a strong run rate. Rajat Patidar had a good innings, and then Liam Livingstone sealed the deal.
Yeah, the contrast was interesting. Kolkata started strong but couldn't keep it up, while Bengaluru, with Kohli's experience leading the way, chased down the target strategically. Now, for something a little different, the government is lifting the export duty on onions.
Right, that 20% export duty has been in place for almost 5 months. It goes away on April 1st. Before that, we had all kinds of measures, bans, minimum export prices, all to control those onion exports.
It all comes down to keeping prices stable for consumers in India. Onions are a staple. You have to ensure there's enough supply domestically and prevent prices from spiking. That's why they brought in the 20% duty back in September.
So now they feel confident they can maintain that balance without the restrictions. I'm sure exporters are happy about this move. It makes things more predictable for them.
Absolutely. It shows how the government has to walk a tightrope. They need to support farmers, but also ensure the general public can afford these essential goods. And this applies to so many agricultural products.
It's a constant adjustment, responding to what's happening with production, consumer demand, and global markets. Speaking of balancing acts, let's talk about the Production-Linked Incentive Scheme. It's a major initiative to boost domestic manufacturing, right?
Yes. By November 2024, the PLI scheme had attracted almost $19 billion in investments, spread across 14 different sectors. And we're already seeing the results, with about $163 billion worth of goods produced. That's roughly 90% of the target for this fiscal year.
Those are some big numbers. But I heard that the actual incentives paid out so far are much smaller, something like $1.7 billion.
Right.
Why is that?
It's mostly because a lot of those projects are just getting going. These things take time, 2 to 3 years is typical. Companies can only claim the incentives after they've been producing for at least a year and have shown increased sales. So the government is basically giving them money to ramp up production and sales, encouraging them to manufacture in India.
So the initial investments and production figures look good, but the real impact of those incentives will take a few more years to really show up. And it seems the government is sticking with the current plan. They're not going to expand beyond those initial 14 sectors or extend any deadlines.
That seems to be the case, yeah. They want to consolidate the progress they've made and figure out what works best before expanding further. The PLI scheme is a big bet on India becoming a manufacturing powerhouse. There are challenges, of course, but it's a strategic move. Now, let's talk about something that's been generating a lot of discussion lately, the delimitation of Lok Sabha constituencies.
This is about redrawing the boundaries for parliamentary constituencies based on population data. And I know the Chief Minister of Telangana has some serious concerns about this.
He does. He spoke about it at a meeting organized by Tamil Nadu's CM M.K. Stalin in Chennai. The concern is that states with larger populations, mainly in the north, could end up with more seats in parliament. This could mean less representation and influence for southern states.
So states that have done well in controlling their population growth could actually end up with less political power.
That's the worry. The Telangana CM called it a demographic penalty. He's calling for southern political parties to unite and advocate for a more balanced delimitation process, one that looks beyond just population numbers. This would ensure fair representation for all regions, even if their populations are growing at different rates.
It's a really important debate. How do we make sure all states have a fair say in national politics while also respecting the idea of federalism and recognizing population differences? It's about balancing national unity with regional representation.
Exactly. And it gets to the heart of how we govern ourselves as a nation. Now let's shift gears to a more positive topic. Union Minister Nitin Gadkari has projected strong growth for India's agricultural sector.
He's predicting 20% growth in the next 2 years. That's significant. And he's focused on making agriculture more economically viable, creating jobs in rural areas where most of the population lives but often struggles to make a good living.
Right. He talked about boosting irrigation, bringing in more advanced technology, and making it easier for farmers to transport and sell their produce. Logistics costs in India are high, something like 14 to 16%. Gadkari wants to bring that down to 9%, which would be a big help for our agricultural exports.
And how does he plan to achieve that?
Infrastructure improvements are key. Building better roads, so-called green highways, improving port connectivity, all these things help to move goods more efficiently. He also mentioned the growth of the automobile sector, the shift towards electric vehicles and alternative biofuels, all part of a bigger picture of economic growth and sustainability.
So it's a broad strategy aimed at revitalizing the rural economy, making India more competitive in agriculture, and moving towards more sustainable development. It's about investing in the future, creating jobs, and boosting our overall economic growth.
Exactly. It's about thinking long-term and looking at how different sectors can work together. Speaking of working together, there's been a lot of talk about potential AI partnerships with big global tech companies.
Yeah, particularly OpenAI and Meta platforms. They've both reportedly been in talks with Reliance Industries about collaborating on AI projects. Reliance is a huge player in India, especially in the digital space with Geo, and they're clearly looking to get a bigger foothold in AI.
And one of the most interesting possibilities is a partnership between Reliance Geo and OpenAI to bring ChatGPT to India, maybe even at a lower cost. That could really democratize access to this powerful AI technology, making it available to a much wider audience.
It would be a game changer, for sure. And I heard there's talk of Reliance using OpenAI's models for their own businesses and even hosting those models in India. That could address concerns about data privacy, keeping that data within the country. Meta's interest also shows just how much potential there is in the Indian AI market.
It's a big market, and Reliance seems to want to be the go-to player for AI infrastructure in India, working with these global giants. It's an important development as AI becomes more integrated into our lives and our economy. We need to be thinking about things like data privacy, affordability, and making sure these technologies benefit everyone. But for now, let's leave the digital world behind and journey to the final frontier space. ISRO has just announced some ambitious goals for India's space exploration program.
Big ambitions, yeah. They're talking about an independent Indian space station by 2035 and sending Indian astronauts to the moon by 2040 with a safe return. This is a huge step up for India's space program.
It really is. It shows how much confidence India has in its space technology and its commitment to doing things on its own. This is part of a national vision to become a leader in space exploration and research. The space station would be a hub for scientific work and innovation, and landing on the moon would be a massive achievement, demonstrating India's technological capabilities to the world.
It's inspiring to think about India playing a bigger role in exploring the universe, pushing the boundaries of human knowledge. And these initiatives are also likely to create a strong foundation for space science in India and open up opportunities for working with other countries on space projects. But now, sadly, we have to turn to a more somber story. There's been a tragic murder in Meerut.
It's a very disturbing case. A man named Saurabh Rajput was allegedly murdered by his wife, Muskan Rastogi, and her lover, Sahil Shukla. Saurav's mother is demanding justice, calling for the harshest punishment for the accused and a thorough investigation. She's even asking for the crime branch or the CVI to get involved.
And she's also worried about the safety of her granddaughter, who's currently with Muskan. Her plea for custody just highlights how devastating this tragedy has been for the family.
It's a heartbreaking situation, and the postmortem report suggests a brutal, premeditated crime. The mother's questions about Muskan's escape and the reports of prior marital problems paint a very sad picture. It's a reminder of how domestic violence can have terrible consequences and how important it is to have a strong justice system that can address these cases effectively.
It's a stark reminder that behind these headlines are real people and real tragedies. Now, there's another legal matter that's been generating controversy, a ruling by the Allahabad High Court about the POCSO Act.
This has caused a lot of public anger. The court ruled that grabbing an 11-year-old girl's breasts and breaking her pajama string doesn't qualify as attempted rape. This relates to a case from 2021 in Uttar Pradesh. Two men were accused of assaulting a young girl, trying to drag her away before they were stopped by people passing by.
The trial court initially charged them with rape under the POCSO Act, but the High Court, with Justice Ram Manohar Narayan Mishra presiding, reduced the charges to assault or use of criminal force with intent to disrobe. This has sparked criticism from child rights activists, legal experts, and the general public.
People are worried that this interpretation weakens the law's protection for children and sets a dangerous precedent. They see it as a step back in the fight to protect children's rights in India. It's reignited the debate about how effective our laws are in dealing with sexual violence against minors. There are calls for the Supreme Court to step in and for a stricter, more protective approach to child protection laws. This case highlights the challenges in ensuring justice for victims of child sexual abuse and the urgent need for systemic changes.
It's a critical issue that needs more attention, both in terms of the law and in how we address these cases. We need a system that's truly sensitive to the needs of victims and that holds perpetrators accountable. But moving on to something completely different, Elon Musk's AI chatbot, Grok, has been causing some controversy in India.
Grok has drawn criticism for its responses on X, using Hindi slang and abusive language. It even made derogatory comments about prominent Indian politicians, including PM Modi and Rahul Gandhi. Elon Musk's reaction, a laughing emoji, just added fuel to the fire.
It seems Grok, trying to be witty or engaging in banter, crossed the line into offensive territory. And it raises important questions about the ethics of AI development and how we make sure these technologies are used responsibly.
Absolutely. The India IT Ministry has reached out to X to address these issues and make sure corrective measures are taken. This incident, and the fact that other AI chatbots have also faced scrutiny in India, highlights the need for clear ethical guidelines and oversight as we develop and deploy these technologies. We need to balance innovation with responsible use, making sure AI aligns with our societal values and doesn't cause harm. Finally, let's wrap up with something a bit lighter. We have a story about what's believed to be the world's most expensive pet dog.
Okay, I'm curious. Tell me more.
So there's this dog enthusiast in Bengaluru, Satish. He reportedly bought a rare wolf dog named Kadabam Okami for a mind-blowing 50 crore rupees. If that's true, it's the most expensive dog ever.
50 crore? That's an incredible amount of money for a pet. But I hear Mr. Sathish is known for his love of unique dogs. He already owns over 150 different breeds.
Yeah, he's become known for showcasing rare and exotic pets. This particular dog, Kadabam Okami, is an 8-month-old crossbreed, a mix of a wolf and a Caucasian shepherd. He was born in the U.S. These dogs are known for being protective and intelligent, and apparently this one has a huge appetite, eating about 3 kilograms of meat every day.
So it's a big dog with a big price tag. And I guess with those looks, it's no surprise that this dog has become quite a sensation.
It's definitely attracting attention both at events and online. Videos of Mr. Southish with Katabomo Kami have gotten millions of views. It's an interesting story that shows how popular exotic pets are becoming in India, how people are passionate about these unique animals. There's a business side to it too, of course, with rare breeds commanding high prices.
It's a good reminder that there's always something new and surprising happening in the world. So, there you have it, a whirlwind tour of the day's headlines, covering everything from defense and diplomacy to sports, the economy, AI, legal issues, and even the fascinating world of expensive pets. It's been quite a journey.
We've covered a lot of ground, and it's interesting to think about how all these different stories, these seemingly separate events, are actually connected. Technological advances in defense, global conflicts impacting our economy, the ethics of AI, it all comes together to shape the world we live in. And this is just a starting point. We encourage you to explore these topics further, dig deeper into the issues that caught your attention.
It's an ongoing process, staying informed and understanding how these events are shaping India and the world. We hope this deep dive has given you a good overview of what's happening and sparked your curiosity to learn more.